You ready?
There is a connection between the paranormal, UFOs, and the myths of ancient history. The clues are scattered across the landscape from a forbidden past, maybe even in your own backyard. There is a connection between the true nature of our reality, consciousness, and the unexplained. I'm Carl the Crusher. Let's explore the unknown. What is up, guys? Welcome back to the Carl Crusher channel. Something crazy just happened. So for fun and for mental health reasons, I have started playing video games on my Crusher Crew Games channel. I've been playing Red Dead Redemption, War Thunder, and a bunch of stuff like that. But I was looking for videos to do a post on TikTok, and I thought, you know what? I did this really cool image stabilization video of the Patterson-Gimlin Bigfoot video a long time ago, like clear back in 2015 or something like that. I went into Premiere Pro or Adobe After Effects and I did this whole image stabilization of that. So I was looking for that on my computer, and then what I came across is all of the footage from when I went on a Bigfoot expedition clear back in I don't even know when it was. This folder was created in 2017, but it might have been before that. I mean, in these videos, I was like almost 400 pounds. I was clear way overweight back then, totally different lifestyle. But this is when I got invited to go up to the Sierra Nevada mountains where the Sierra calls and all of these Bigfoot sightings and UFO sightings have occurred historically. Some of the most famous videos and audio recordings of Bigfoot and Sasquatch happened right in this same area. And this guy, Justin Smia, said that him and his friend actually shot at a few of them up on this mountain at this location. I got invited to go film as part of the behind the scenes crew, just like I'm doing with the History Channel now. But this was one of my first experiences ever doing something where it wasn't just like going out and filming with my wife and kids at the time, but I went out on my own and went all the way to California and met up with all these guys. We put Justin on a lie detector test. We went up to the location where the Bigfoot sighting happened. And then I even went back a year later with my own team, and we went up with night vision and we went up with rifles and a whole bunch of like crazy stuff back to the area. And I just found all of that footage, and I had it on my YouTube channel at one point clear back when it happened, but what ended up happening at this event sort of traumatized me. It shook me so bad that I ended up taking the footage down. And I think now it's time for me to re-edit it back together. I'm gonna recover all of this footage off of this hard drive, and we're gonna start at the beginning. This was my first experience with what I think of now as like probably a skinwalker or big shadow figure encounter, but this thing left footprints and we even plaster cast them. So let's go back in time. You're gonna see me gain a whole bunch of weight. We're gonna go back into the early 2000s, and when I go to the Sierraville, California, up into the Sierra Nevada mountains, and we're gonna go Bigfoot hunting. Let's go. Hello, Reno. Goodbye, Reno. Right. This is more like it, driving through the mountains and everything. Uh-oh. Agricultural check. Sacramento! I'm almost there. I can almost taste it. I can almost taste it. So happy. I cannot wait to get out of the car. I've been driving for what, like 13 hours? Oh my gosh. This Nikon and a Canon Rebel T4i.
And
That's a nice camera.
We got a couple of
GoPros.
And we got trail cams out on the site.
Which we're going to go recover.
And little handy cams as well.
This is
little flip cams.
This is Ro Sahibi.
What is happening?
Carl Olensalot. We're here in northern Sacramento, and we're just getting prepped because what do we have going on tonight, Ro?
Tonight we are going to talk to the Invisible Man, the driver in the Sierra Kills incident, and he's agreed to come on to video if we give him a little bit of anonymity here. So, is that the right word?
Yes.
Okay. See, I did go to school.
So we've been planning this morning about how we're going to set up the shot to film this part.
Yeah. Because if we're going to find out if this guy is just backing up and telling the story that Justin once told,
right,
it's going to be really obvious. That's why it's important to me that we see part of his face. You won't, we can keep his identity secret,
right,
fairly easy without sacrificing his emotion,
right,
his emotional expression,
right.
So,
but this is, I mean, we were talking about this. We've talked about a lot of things in the last 20 hours or so.
Lots.
But a lot of this is, I think the driver is a huge critical piece of the puzzle.
The driver is, and the polygraph is going to be another important piece. I don't know if we're trying to make that happen on this trip. I might come back next week.
Right.
But no matter what that's getting done, there's a lot of people involved with making that happen.
Right.
Very famous people in this world. So
right.
So that is, you get the driver, you get the polygraph, you get some preliminary DNA results, and then we back that all up with what's coming, our trip to the site. Right. And we're going to follow up on some reports that we've gotten on footprints and things like that.
That are in the location. That are still there.
3 miles away. The most important thing is we approach this as skeptical as possible that this is an elaborate hoax and we're getting to the bottom of it. We are hoping that we are wrong, but we're not going to jump blindly and say, "Hooray, we did it!" We're gonna get in and say,
right,
how the fuck did he pull this off? How the fuck did he pull this off? And,
right,
and get to the bottom of every one of these issues.
Right.
And that's the most important thing. The only person that is reporting any type of information on the secondary study, I think, is Robert Lindsay. I'm not 100% positive where some of these rumors are coming from.
Right.
But there's no information that's been released. None whatsoever. So everything at this point is completely speculative. I think Bobo said something on the Joe Rogan podcast. Right. But he was kind of vague, and people just ran with it and started making shit up.
But you've seen the DNA results that have come back.
Yeah, I can't confirm that they're real, though. I've seen emails from the lab, and that's it. And I'm not going to say that they were real. Right. I'm not going to say that they're 100% because this could be this huge elaborate hoax. And I can't read DNA results. Right. I don't know how to properly read them and break them apart. So
there's a meadow to your right. You can't really see anything for a minute, and then it opens up to an even bigger meadow. And I remember coming around the corner, and when something's out of place, even if it's an animal or something, because we've driven that road many times, you instantly key on what's there that wasn't there before. Like, we know the area very well, we've been there lots of times, we know it's a great place to hide. So as soon as you come around the corner and you see something there that isn't always there, you key on it. And when you look at it, you go, holy shit, what's that? That's totally different. Because normally you know what it is. There's only so many dukes that could be there, that aren't supposed to be there. And, yeah. I just remember coming around the corner, seeing a very, very large creature standing there, and Justin hopped out of the car. Like, it literally happens in seconds. Because that's the way we do it. You don't have time to sit around and wait. It just instantly happens. He's out the phone. He's got the rifle. Ready to go.
Did you, at any point before him jumping out of the car, did you say, oh, there's a bear, or I'm wondering what we're going to find around this corner, or did you say something's wrong? Well, how many seconds before you put one of those statements together?
I think it took 2 seconds when I started to say, no, don't. It looks like a person in a bear suit. That's an exact quote, looks like a person in a bear suit. I've heard people say it like 100,000 different ways of what I said. The exact quote was, it looks like a person in a bear suit. So that's exactly what's in front of you.
You have a military background, right? Yeah. I'm not going to ask you about what you shot at in the military or stuff. Did any of these emotions feel familiar at this point in time? Because I know you have to react fast in the military.
Yes, but it's a little bit different. Hunting's a different mode than being on patrol. It's a totally different mode. Not worried about something shooting back at you and driving through the woods. That's not something to worry about. So it's a totally different emotion, totally different thing. It's not at all something you can keep comparing the two.
2 seconds go by, and Justin now looking down the barrel. You're driving. You stop the truck. Are you at a stop?
Yes, the truck is stopped. My door's shut. His door's open. He's got a foot on the ground. He's got the rifle sitting there. He's looking at the scope. I was stopped and ready to shoot. And I pretty much started telling him, don't do it. Don't do it. Because there was something wrong. There was something off from what, in both of our minds, no is supposed to be. There was something that wasn't supposed to be. So I don't know what it was. But in that point in time, it was, this is probably not good. But then again, if I was the guy in the passenger seat, my instinct was to jump out the window or jump out the car because it's on my side of the window. I probably would have gone the same way. But I didn't have the right to stop. I was, at that time, thinking of the ocular shirt all good. So if I could go back, I would step down to the rifle, see if all of
What did you see through your binoculars?
I don't have the greatest pair of binoculars, and I had it set up to look quite a bit further than what we had it set up to. But even looking through the binoculars, it didn't look right. It wasn't there. I'm not going to say what it was, because, like I said, it was very dissociated from everything in the Bigfoot world. And
what was it doing there? What did you see it doing that made you, besides its appearance, what about its behavior that screamed to you, not a bear?
it had human-like behavior. The way it was standing, the way it had its arms up in the air, with bears hunting. Maybe in the circus, I don't know, but bears don't allow bear hunting. It was the actions and even a little bit of the emotion on the face, because I was able to see pretty well through the binoculars. Like, there was a different expression than what you can see on the bear. The bear usually turn around and go the opposite direction. They don't go towards me. And it was walking towards us. Full stride walking towards us.
So now about 4 or 5 seconds have come by, and he's getting tighter on the trigger, I'm guessing.
I am slowly squeezing, getting ready to let go. Absolutely. And
Saying, wait.
the whole time it was, don't shoot. That's all it was the whole time, telling him not to shoot. It's not a good idea. And this is all, within 5 seconds. And then there was no convincing him at that point, just as much as there probably would have been no convincing me at that point. Because he had the rifle. I had the rifle, I would probably done the same thing.
Can you walk me through the next, I'm assuming it's about 10 seconds between that point and the point of the trigger being pulled. Can you walk me through
It's
that?
probably only 12 seconds between the point that we came around the corner and I stopped my car and he pulled the trigger. Like, it was 12 seconds the entire time. Maybe 10, I don't know. It doesn't take very long. If you wait any longer, you're gonna miss the shot. And for us to drive that far and go home with nothing sucks. We do it all the time, but and it's almost dark, you pull the trigger. You make that. You don't miss a shot because you're trying to figure it out.
So 5 seconds in, you know he's pulling the trigger. You pretty much are assuming that.
I was surprised he hadn't already pulled the trigger.
Right.
He doesn't wait that long. Like, so maybe that's where he was realizing something was a little off. I don't know, but it usually doesn't take 5 seconds. Regular, it's usually a lot. shouldn't happen.
So if the trigger's pulled and you get the Bigfoot, what happens after that?
I am still looking through the binoculars at that point when the trigger gets pulled. I didn't even put it down. I couldn't stop looking. And I saw where he hit it. It was a fantastic shot. And I just remember seeing the way that the ripples in the skin of the body had like a concussion to it because I was staring so intently at it. It was intense. It'd be like throwing a baseball in a bowl of jello. The way the body shut when he hit it. It was pretty cool to watch, actually. Yeah. Wish you can say that out there. It was pretty awesome.
So it hit the ground and it's scrambling or it's trying to make off. And what happens after it gets shot and the convulsions start? So I believe it tries to get away and he's posting up for the kill shot, a second shot. What happened from your perspective at that? And what's going through your head?
Well, once it took the first shot, it took a couple more steps, still up on 4 or on 2, and then it dropped to 4 and it took off. I don't know if he would have had the time to get the second shot of it. He could have jammered as fast as he could, but it was gone. It stumbled. It didn't fall right away. It stumbled a couple more steps, hit all 4s, and took off into the bush.
How long before you recognized that it wasn't you?
4 seconds later. Not long. Once, because we had our attention posted on whatever he shot, and as it's running away, we're looking at that to see where it goes because we got to track it. And then after it's gone, we look at each other, and then we look back over to where he shot it because that's where you start. You start at the blood trail and you keep following it. We turn and then there runs out 2 small ones.
So it takes off on 4s?
Yes, it starts on 2s, drops down to 4, runs, goes down the side of the hill, cliff, pretty much. Very, very steep hillside.
What would you say its motion was similar to at that point, if you're still watching it intently through the binoculars?
I had dropped the binoculars after it hit all 4s and just watched it, just with my eyes, running. And it didn't run like anything I've seen on 4 legs. Like if you and I tried to do it, that's what it would look like. But 10 times as fast as either of us could do. Like if I got on all 4s, that's what it would look like. It looked awkward running on all 4s, but it did it very quickly.
And how big do you think it was? Because by now you've kind of sized up what you've sized this creature up to some degree by within these few seconds. Because you guys decide to go after it.
Correct.
How big would you say it was?
Height-wise, I'm pretty tall. I'm 6'3", 6'4", something like that. It was easily 9 inches taller than me, 10 inches taller than me. He was easily close to 8 feet, but I'd say probably 7, 6. It looked huge, but looking back, looking at the terrain that's around, there was bushes around, sizing up my head probably puts it at like 7 snakes.
So it goes over the hill, and at any point when he was still, after he took the first shot, did you tell him don't shoot, don't take that second shot? Because he was, I think, ready to take a second shot.
Absolutely, you're always shavoring another one.
What was your response to him?
They're the same.
But
you have, once you shoot it, once you have the turn the second wide.
So
you don't want to lose whatever it is.
Yeah.
I mean, if you could have got a second one, this would probably be a totally different conversation.
Yeah. What happens next?
We see the small ones and we're like, oh, we're gonna get in trouble because we can't shoot the bear, and that's what we were doing. We were a bear. We can't shoot a block or whatever that has cubs. Then it's like, oh shit. Now we're getting freaked out. But we're still going to look through this thing. So I take off in the truck, drive probably 25 yards off of the road, through the meadow, to the point where it's like, oh, I'm going to probably ruin somewhere in my truck. Probably should just get out. When we get out, that's when we start looking for it.
Did you bring a gun with you to that out?
Yes.
What did you do next? Were you
Well, I didn't bring mine in, Justin brought his.
okay?
Mine stayed in the truck. I brought binoculars, and that was it. Justin brought his.
So you jump out of the truck. Do you have any idea of where you're going? Or do you have an idea of where the adult might have gone direction-wise?
Yes, but we didn't start there. We started where every blood trail starts, where it got shot. That's where we started. We immediately went over to that to follow exactly where the other one. Because you can lose a trail between where you are and trying to find the last body that you saw. So you go back to where it all started and where you saw it. That's what we did. Just like we keep Pittsburgh, deer, bear, whatever, you start where it starts.
So how did it play out from here?
We didn't really see too much blood sign, which was kind of a bummer. And so we just followed eventually where we thought it went into, and it drops off down a very steep hill where you're like looking down the hill and you're like, I gotta look and try to get back in that hill. But we did, we dropped down in there and we started looking for it and started walking around.
What was trying?
The whole time we were looking around, we didn't really find much. All we ended up finding was the two little ones. They started hanging out, looking around. Like they were obviously looking for whatever we shot. They were walking around looking for it too, making noises back and forth to each other, trying to figure out what's going on. They were within like 15 yards of us the whole time.
How did they make you feel? Did you feel threatened by it? Were they big? I mean, they're like 3 or 4 feet tall. It's pretty big. I'm guessing they're around 3 or 4 feet tall.
Yeah, no, that's a great assumption by it. I mean, I remember holding it and thinking, yeah, this is pretty tall when you say it. Look, they're bad legs. Absolutely.
You remember holding it? Was it alive when you were holding it? Or okay, so let's back up. You come across the small ones. You see them in the area. They're about 15 yards away from you. Do you feel threatened by their presence at all yet? No. Do you have any idea at this point, as you look at them closer, 15 yards away, what you might be hunting? But
no, I still don't know at that point. I still don't know at this point. You know, it's like exactly what exactly happened. I don't know.
yeah, do you remember Justin shooting, taking that shot at the little one?
I remember Justin and I talking about it before he did it.
What did you tell her? What did you see?
Do it. There's already one on the ground. You don't need to shoot that one. Like we need to just look for the one that we're looking for. There's no point doing it again. We're already feeling weird about it as it is. We want to take another shot. And then we split up and we were looking, and they come back around the corner and shot gets fired. Takes out the middle one.
You heard the shot get fired. Where were you? And what were you looking at the time?
Like he was 25 yards away when we shot it. I was down the hill more. He was up higher on the hill. And they were both around him more than they were around me the entire time. I could turn around, but there they were. They were always around me. A walkway around me.
So how do you feel when you hear that second shot? Do you know what happened? Do you think he shot the big one, or do you know he shot a little one, or are you assuming it was a warning shot? What do you, as soon as you hear it, what's the next thing for you?
I turn around and I look and I see exactly what he did. I didn't have to think about it. I saw what he did.
Create some tension at that moment. Did tensions increase a bit between you two?
Yeah, absolutely. It's like, what the fuck? Why did you do that? Like, here we are again. I don't want to get in trouble. That's my big thing. I still got to go home. I still got to go home. You can't be getting in trouble for fucking stupid shit like this. But at the end of the day, Justin's still like my best friend. It was his judgment call. I mean, he'd take the rap for it all day if we were going to get in trouble. He'd say I was hiking on a hill somewhere far away. Just as much as if I did something wrong, he'd get the same thing if I did. He did, right? But it still was like, what the you do apologize? I don't know.
Justin says he picked it up and was looking at it as it was dying. Is that how you remember it?
That is, I don't know if it was alive or not when he was holding it, but he held it half a second later and picked it up. But I know it almost took a little bit of time to expire. Like, it's just the way it is. I don't doubt he might lie did and it just says that's not time.
And what was the conversation having at that moment?
I started running up the hill saying, what the f-? And he's like, look at this. I'm like, oh my God, we're so sticky. Like, yeah.
So why don't you say, oh my God, what did you do? Did you know it was, at this point, you know it's not a bear. So
right.
When you say, oh my God, what did you do? Is it, oh my God, you just killed something that shouldn't be killed? Or, oh my God, we're in trouble? Or what is it?
Oh my God, you killed something that's definitely, we don't have a tag for whatever that animal is. And if you don't have a tag, you get in trouble. Which is a funny way to think about it, but it's like, yeah, by chance I was walking through the woods and I found a freaking gnome or a gremlin and I shot it. There are serious repercussions for shit like that, for sure. Like a chupacabra out in the woods or something ridiculous that people find out, you get in trouble. It ends up turning into all kinds of crazy stories and shit stories. I'm like, exactly what happened with all this. If you think about it, just the reason I try to stay out of it as much as possible. Like, I don't even, I can't really think of something better. Thinks he shot a Bigfoot. Yeah. My family doesn't know about any of this. None of them do.
You don't like that word Bigfoot and you don't like being associated with it.
I don't feel the need to be associated with it. It's fine. Something crazy happened that day. Absolutely. And it is what it is, and it totally could have been a Bigfoot, and it's totally not been a Bigfoot. But I'm also the type of person that I'm not going to bullshit and say I know for a fact it was a Bigfoot 100%. I know for sure it wasn't a Bigfoot 100%. I know what I saw. I saw what wasn't a bear that was in the woods that looked like a person in a bear suit. We shot it. And I know we saw a small one, and it was extremely
Abnormal. So you at some point, Justin, does he throw it at you? Does he drop it? You pick it up? How did it end up in your hands?
He's still up the hill from me at that point, and he takes it and tosses it, and it rolls down the hill and comes close to me. I walk over and I look at it, and I'm like, don't like me. That explains why we feel so weird about the big one, because now we see a small one and it's like, yeah, it's like a cherry child, kind of. Not exactly like that, but I wish I could put it in like a picture and show everybody exactly. Justin's done stuff like that.
Have you seen his rendering, like how he described it? Is that what it looks like to you?
Yeah.
Because it looks like a gorilla. Is it possible you guys shot some escaped gorilla or something?
I don't know. I think we would have heard on the news about an escaped gorilla at 7,000 feet. I don't know where the nearest zoo is either, though. So,
wow. Now you held this in your hand, so it was a living, breathing thing. At any point, did you say, and forgive me if I offend you on this, you say we just committed murder? This could be partly human. At any point like that, and since have you thought about it?
Not that day. Not that day. Not on the drive home. We didn't even say a word to each other on the drive home. We spent 3.5 hours in the car in silence the entire round, because we were all we were stunned at everything that happened. We didn't talk for 3.5 hours in the car, right? The whole way. One thing we did was we both stopped and we weren't smoking at that time. We both picked up a pack of cigarettes. We were both stressed with our life.
Okay, this is crazy, dude. I mean, this whole thing for me is like, Justin is a fun guy, and we hang out and he cracks jokes, and so at some point you go, he could be with me, and you don't have that vibe. I'm sure you're a fun guy and you're a little bit nervous right now. You guys with us? No,
not at all.
Yeah,
not at all.
And
it's funny that you say that. He's like, everybody we hang out with thinks the exact opposite of the way that we are. Justin's serious all the time, like stone cold face when we go out and hang out with people, and exactly the opposite.
Do you care about finding the truth to this, or you're done with it? Because I know like doing this was something you didn't really even want to do.
No, I want to know. I want to know for myself. I don't want to know. I don't want to figure it out for everybody else. I don't care about everybody else. I don't care. I'm good friends with a couple people that do the Bigfoot thing, like Bart and Derek. Like, I don't care if they really ever find out. I need to know for myself.
Right.
I need to know that in my own mind I'm not crazy for thinking that that's what it was.
Okay, let's go back to the
Hey, bro.
yeah.
This battery's going dead and this one's not for now.
Okay.
Fine. So
Let's reset it.
good time for a break.
Yeah.
Good time for a break. Yeah. You guys gotta be quiet, man. Pick up these sounds.
Yeah, it's pretty sensitive mic, I think. But
Yeah, this battery's flashing.
All right.
Like
Yeah,
crazy.
I don't. When I ask stuff, I don't mean to be offensive.
What?
It's just
You're
pure.
You're probably better
Okay.
just to leave it.
Just so you know.
tough guy, sweet boy.
Yeah. You just never know when you meet someone.
Right.
Especially when you hear fantastic stories. Sometimes it's just coming from a crazy person who is going to get
Wait for
offended.
me to use the
How dare you? You know. Like I said, I mean, I don't think you blame you for like being skeptical. You know, like how
I wouldn't believe it.
I want to believe it.
I wouldn't.
I absolutely want to believe it. That's why I'm doing it. I don't want to get, but the same part of me has to say, dude, don't be stupid.
You realize I'd have a hard time believing Justin if he came home and told me this. If he went with his other buddies,
I know.
and told me this.
Yeah.
I would. It's very hard to believe that.
Just, yeah.
Well, it's what I think would be like a really funny tidbit. It's not funny like you guys think, but me and Jack went hunting this past weekend with some guys that we didn't know. We met them off the internet.
Really?
Basically, it's like, anyways.
Yeah.
And we were telling our wives the story, and our stories didn't line up at all. They weren't even very close. Like, yeah, this guy that we were hunting with, he was this tall. No, he wasn't really this tall. No, he was like this tall. I was like, no. No, he looked small to you because everybody's taller than you.
Right.
And I was like, no. I swear to God, this guy was this tall.
But he wasn't.
And he's saying that the guy was like this tall. And then one of the guys,
You got the tape measure.
So Justin thinks he's like 4'2".
The guy that you went hunting with?
Yes.
he was like
That short?
He was a big muscular man, but he was small. He
My
was,
wife is 5'1", and I know that they were pretty much the same size.
Really?
well, also, there was this guy that was really big that we went hunting with.
Yeah.
And he says he was like a 46 pant size or something. And I'm saying he was like a 38, 40.
How tall was the baby?
Other camera
The baby that he shot?
It's my other camera bag.
On its hind legs or the way it was?
I don't
on,
understand.
It was on fours the whole time.
I was on four.
It would jump up to 2, but when it was mobile,
The
it
baby
was
went around on their
it was
hands.
on 4. Yeah. Absolutely. And all fours 95% of the time.
Did it look like freaking monkey-like or
You
like,
want to
was
do your
it,
roll? You're okay.
I'm fine.
or is that where it gets freaking confusing? Like, cause you look at it, it's not anything that you can really place it with. Or is it like
Correct.
really
Yeah.
human?
I know what a monkey looks like, and
Like
Yeah,
chip-like or like what? Like, or like more human? Your face just like different human.
You want to throw it on the camera?
it was somewhere between the two. But I feel like the small ones look less human than the big ones.
Really? Like how? Like in the face, like the nose and eyes and crap? Or what?
Yeah, the smaller ones had longer faces.
Longer, like stretched out, like faces,
No,
like
longer outward.
oh, like push forward faces,
Yes,
like.
longer outward
Hey,
faces.
out there. I'll meet you guys out there.
Well, you can ask all this on the video too. Like what they look like in detail, or I'm just kind of like curious from my own side.
That perspective.
Longer like muzzle or like
Not muscle, like not like a dog, not like whatever, not like it was just you see people and their faces look like they stick out. Like I never think it was. It makes my face look like it sticks out as the ones are, but it wasn't quite as flat faced as you picture a normal person, right? Me or you.
but not like a chimp protruding out. It was just like Like is it like Neanderthal?
Big brows, big eyebrows that seemed like they stuck out. Big chin structures, like full face chin structures that stuck out. But flatter noses.
We should probably wait for you to ask all this stuff, right? You know what I'm saying? He's like giving out all these details on that. We're not even.
I think I know all it's from exactly the same.
No, I know. It's just stop. So the adult had it looked different, like more just proportionally accurate, but more.
But I saw that one from 200 yards, 60 yards, something.
I see.
But
All right.
I saw the other one from 2 feet.
Cool. All right. Hey, Carl, can you kill that AC?
I was thinking that. I'm not exactly sure where to do that.
It's right here.
So these microphones are kind of sensitive.
They'll pick up all
This
that.
will be good. Now, like, we're totally quiet.
That's-
Because these microphones are sensitive, you know. They hear the background talking and shit. And people give you crap. They give you crap when they're like, "Oh, was there coaching going on and shit like that?" You know, it gets ridiculous. It gets ridiculous with the scrutiny and stuff like that. And then once we get started, double check the framing on that one as well.
Yeah, for sure.
I think I looked back like twice, but
It's okay.
We can blur the spots that we need
You have
to.
my word, and I don't know if Justin's told you anything about it, but you can. I won't misrepresent you guys or do anything you don't want, you know. So I know, you know, I've got kids. I made the mistake of using my last name on all this stuff, and all these kind of crazy people. You know, when your last name is Sahibi, it's not too hard to find a Sahibi that lives in California. I'm not just like, oh man, maybe it's just a mistake. But it's crazy Bigfoot. People know where I live. They know my last name. They know I have kids. So I totally understand that. It is kind of stressful.
I mean, sure. Eventually, it's going to be like whatever. I'll probably end up letting people know who I am. It's not necessary right now.
Dude, yeah, totally take your time. Totally take your time. So let's talk about some of the details that you remember from the adult. Like when you got a good look at it. You were intently watching it. You were like, kind of like, if I remember correctly, you saying you couldn't take your eyes off us almost.
No, not at all. Like, could not take my eyes off.
So describe some of the features of it.
Besides the fact that it was tall, and it was extremely muscular. Like you wouldn't expect for something that big, living at such high elevation. Muscles don't keep you warm; fat keeps you warm. It was you could make out defined muscle features when the entire body of this creature.
And yeah, dude, can you also ask him to keep it just a hair? They can just tone it down a bit. So when you see like these pictures of like that Patterson Gimlin film, is that, because to me that looks like a really fat animal.
I've only seen that video, I think, twice.
But from what you remember, is the muscular build similar to that?
No, it was more defined.
Yeah, almost like a weightlifter kind of.
Yeah, but with still that, I live up in this year is at 7,000 feet. I still have an inch and a half fat layer on my body, like everything else does that lives up at 7,000 feet. It's freaking cold up there. It smells. It's below zero sometimes. Like But on top of all that, I mean, you see the guys that are at the gym. They're just like fat on top of muscle. That's kind of what it was, but very defined still.
Okay, that I can see that. I mean, the artist renderings that I've seen make it look like it's chiseled like MMA fighter or something
Not
like
like that at all. It's like somebody who was overweight and 300 pounds, and then they started going to the gym, and they're like halfway to the perfect body they always want. Kind of.
The fur has something to do with that too. When you go to the gym and see people covered in fur, so that's got to have something to do with it too.
So what about facial features of the adult?
That's what made me most curious as to what I'm looking at. Because when I looked at the facial features, I wouldn't say human, but it looked like a human wearing a mask. It looked like it, and the lack of fur that was on the face was kind of worrying, because bear, deer, everything's got fur on its face. anything he hunts got fur on his face. Like, we're not hunting monkeys in Africa with furless faces. And the eyebrows protruded extremely far. Like, I know everybody on camera can't see that. I have like boxer eyebrows. Like, my eyebrows, my eyes are sunken a little bit more. I have nothing on that. I mean, I'm talking that you could see like shadows in the eyes from how far they stuck out. And the nose, it was almost like a pug face for the nose, like the dog, the pug, the smashed face.
Yeah.
It's kind of like that.
So how the kids look in comparison?
The kids seemed like they had not pointed faces like dogs or anything, but you could tell they were a little more stretched forward, not wide, but forward. Like their chins were, it's weird to say chins when you're talking about an animal, but their chins seemed to stick out more. They protruded off their face a little bit more, and their eyes weren't quite as sunk back in their head as the adult was.
Right. Anything else you notice holding it up close? What are the most worrying features to you?
I don't know if you call them hands or paws or feet or whatever you want to call them. They were very large for the size of animal they were. Extremely large.
That's crazy.
Yeah, like twice the size you would figure it would be. I mean, the bigger a bear gets, the wider their feet get. They are almost round. They don't have feet. They have paws. These had feet. Front and back. Top and bottom.
Color of the adult, color of the children.
Color of the adult was a lighter color. Kind of a sandy blonde color, which you don't see very many bears like that up there. You see a lot of black, like real black bears, cinnamon bears. This was more of a sandy blonde color. It was, that's the best way I can describe it. Like sandy blonde, I can tell you it looks like my hair or like my wife's hair, but y'all don't know who that is, so that doesn't matter. And the smaller ones, they were darker. They were definitely darker.
Now, you said on the adult what was worrying was there was no fur on the face. Was it the same way with the kids?
They had, if the adult had 15% of its face with hair on it, the small ones had 20. Like it was almost the same. A little bit more hair on the small ones. But it was a different type of hair. It was thinner. It was much thinner.
Okay.
Like I don't know if you guys have ever seen like a baby. When you look at baby's hair, it's very thin. That's more what it was like. It was very thin, but it was short. It wasn't long.
So you guys go drive all the way back and never talk about this again.
Not for over a week. We didn't call each other, didn't talk to each other, didn't say a word to each other for over a week.
What's going through your mind this whole week?
I don't know if I was busy at work or what was going on, but we hang out even when I work 60 to 70 plus hours a week, every week. We just didn't feel like, I guess, we had anything to say to each other at that point.
Are you mad that he shot, upset that he shot the little one?
A little bit. I was. At that point, I was a little bit upset about the small one. The big one, take that shot all day.
Yeah.
I probably would have too, but I wouldn't have taken the second shot. I know that. My wife knows that. Everybody knows me knows that I wouldn't have taken that second shot at a smaller animal. And I don't think Justin would have either if we knew we had the next day to look for the big one. But we didn't. We had to leave. I had a wedding to go to. There was no way to stay. Normally we stay and we will look for it the next day. But I don't know if that was part of what was going through his mind with the reason we need to get something on the ground and take it home, but we didn't even take it home.
So you go back with him sometime later, a few weeks later,
Mm-hmm.
at the request of Mr. Derek Randall's, right?
Yep.
What happens when you guys are searching for this thing or remains? How do you know what you found is part of the same animal?
I couldn't say 100% that it was.
Mm.
They didn't pull it off of a whole carcass. We found flesh and hair exactly where it happened in the snow. And I think if we would have went and it hadn't snowed for a couple weeks, we probably would have found nothing. But I think the carcass was there, snow hit the ground, and what was left there was preserved or not eaten because snow hit the ground. There's no beetles on the ground. There's nothing on the ground to take the rest of every little bit away. I think the snow's the only reason we did find it, but I also think the snow's the reason we didn't find everything.
Man, this story is so intense. What do you say to people? What is the one thing you would say to somebody that was on the fence about the story? It's like, I'm not sure to believe you or not. What would be the one thing that you could like say to me? Well, I know you don't care if people believe you or not.
That's what I would tell them. I don't care. Yeah. If they were on the fence about it, I'd say, well, good luck. Go find one. I'm not going to try to convince somebody of it one way or another. It's not like I'm trying to change their religion or something. I'm trying to make somebody believe that Bigfoot exists. Obviously, it doesn't bother me or I need to change anybody's opinion because I don't do any of it. I'm not a Bigfoot activist. I don't go on the forums. I don't chat with people to see what they saw or castings or whatever everybody does. It sounds really dumb to me to go sit around the woods with thermal imagers in the middle of the night knowing that I can't shoot anything that I find. Like, I love going to the woods. I love going camping, but I heard it's all like this crazy camping trips that everybody does and they hang out and they drink and they party. And sounds great. I'd love to do that, but
Does it change your opinion about going into the woods at all?
no, absolutely not.
If you ran into one of these creatures close up, is it a creature you would be afraid of from your encounter with it?
If I didn't have a weapon,
Yeah.
If I didn't have a weapon, I don't know if I'd be scared because I don't think it was an aggressive face of the animal I was looking at.
I'll ask this separately of the adult and the baby. The baby, more chimp or gorilla-like or more Homo sapien-like?
If I was going to put a percentage on it, I'd put it at like 75-25, 75% more human.
And the adult?
85.
If you found out it was human, do you think that there was? Do you think you would take that shot again, or let Justin take that shot again, knowing what you
Would I
know?
go back in time?
Yeah.
No. Because how are you guys going to find out if it's human or not without the DNA studies that we can produce?
Yeah. Is there anything about this event that people have taken out of context that really rubs you the wrong way, or you just really don't care?
I don't care. I don't care what anybody thinks about me. If they're going to say something about my character because of what happened, they should come to work with me for 70 hours a week and see what their character's like. They should come home when I come home every night and take care of my 2 kids and my wife, who's a stay-at-home mom, so she can do what she needs to do for my family. If they have something to say about my character, then fuck them.
What about Justin's character?
Justin does the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
He goes to work and he does what he's got to do. Provides for his family. His wife works, so what? That's the way most people do it. That's just not the way I want my family to be run.
Justin is an experienced hunter, in your opinion?
Extremely experienced. Like, more so than anybody I see on TV that does it for a living.
Do you believe Justin when he says he knows nothing about the ammunition in his gun?
Knows nothing about it?
He didn't remember what kind of ammunition or what kind of ammunition he loads when he was asked in another interview.
I couldn't tell you the ammunition I used last year to shot my deer. I walk up, I look at what's cheap. If I can afford it, then I buy it.
Okay.
They have ammo from $22 for my rifle to $75.
And forgive me for sounding ignorant because I don't hunt, so I don't know.
No, yeah, absolutely. Like I just bought a box of ammo last weekend, and I think they're Federals because they were on sale at Sportsman's Warehouse. It changes all the time, and I'll have ones left over from last year. I have ones from this year, and they roll around in my truck all day. If you went out to my truck right now, you'd probably find 3 different types of shotgun shells. You'd probably find 2 different brands of 30-06 rounds. You'd probably find 2 different arrows, which most people don't do. I know I have 3 different types of broadheads sitting in my car right now. I can see how it could get confusing.
Okay. So if you don't mind, like, if I'm going to back up and we're just going to do it one more time.
Yeah, sure.
You pull around the corner of this meadow.
Mm-hmm.
What do you see? What do you, let me rephrase that.
Okay.
You pull around this corner where you expect to see something. You guys are familiar with this road. And you see something, and Justin, within a few seconds, has his gun, his rifle cocked, one foot on the ground.
Mm-hmm.
What is your first immediate reaction? What do you see? What do you process? And what do you tell Justin?
I see a creature standing on 2 legs with its arms in the air. I see it's walking towards us. And I say to Justin, don't shoot. I'm looking through my binoculars and I think it looks like a person in a bear suit. That's exactly what happened in the first 3 seconds. And if I could go back, I might, instead of be looking through my binoculars, and be looking through my rifle too. I know my rifle would have dropped it because it's just a little bit smaller. I mean, now he drives around with a 300 Win Mag that'll go fucking hole at anything, so it wouldn't happen again now. And everybody asks me, what's the one thing you would change about that day? It wouldn't change the fact that he shot the small one. I wouldn't change any of that. I'd change the fact that the big one didn't die in 20 yards. It died somewhere where we couldn't find it.
And again, I'm going to apologize in advance if I offend you about this. But you were in, and you don't have to talk about this because this is sensitive. You were in the military. Mm-hmm. And when you see this thing get hit and drop, how similar is that, in your opinion, to how a man would have dropped?
I don't know if I really want to answer that. I mean, it's totally different. It's completely different. But I don't want to go off in some other spectrum of that has nothing to do with what happened that day, honestly. I don't think a lot of people enjoy talking about that, and I don't think people who want to listen to it, they're not listening to the conversation to hear about what I did or where I went or anything like that. That day, I can tell you that when it got shot, it was incredible, the way that the body reacted to the bullet, the way it could still stand and take a couple more steps on 2 feet before it hit all 4s. I know if I got shot in the side, I probably wouldn't take a couple steps. I'd probably be on the ground crawling away too. And the fact that it got away as fast as it did, I'm blown away by that. And it's still a bullet. It still stuck it in the perfect spot. And it obviously went right through its lungs. It died probably within 200 yards of where we thought it was. I mean,
so the reputation that a Bigfoot has for being well hidden, you think is well earned, because you wounded it and you guys couldn't find it.
Yeah. I don't think there's nearly as many, if there are them out there, as everybody leads to believe. Like, I don't think that there's 100 of them within 10,000 miles of there. I think they're very few and very far in between, and we just happen to stumble upon an incredible situation, and now we're just telling a story. That's all it is for everybody. It's just a story. It's just what happened. Whether you believe it or not, whether you believe that Jesus was who he said he was and he died upon a cross for whatever, it's just a story. It's whether you believe it or not. You just gotta have faith.
From your experience, would you say guys like Bobo and Bart Catino, your friends, and my friends, Bart's becoming a good friend.
Yeah, Bart's a good friend of mine. I'm not going to say I really know Bobo. I've never met Bobo before personally. I don't even know if I've talked to him. So I called him drunk one night and he didn't answer. But
well, do you think they're going about it the right way from your short experience looking for these things?
I believe they're using the incredible technology to try to find these things. I believe that they're going places that they think that they are hanging out in large numbers. If I was going to go bear hunting, I wouldn't start hunting in Rockland. And I would go out there with a slingshot, go out there with the best equipment I can afford in a place that I know that there's going to be bears. They're doing it exactly how anybody else who would hunt anything would do it, with whatever means they have in the place that they know that they're at. So I don't know what else they could do. And everybody uses trail cameras, they use all that kind of stuff. Obviously, if they're Bigfoots. They're just too smart for everybody, or they're just really, really dumb and they're hide really well. I don't know.
Yeah. Wow, this is a pretty incredible story. It's pretty amazing. I'm really curious about when you were holding this baby, when you picked it up. I don't know. It fell. Justin picked it up. It died. He threw it. You picked it up. When you're looking at it, something had to be going. I mean, you said, yeah, man, we're going to get in trouble for this. And you don't want to speculate and say something that might be incorrect. But your assumption is that, and I've asked this multiple times, and I'm just reconfirming this.
Mm-hmm.
At that moment, was that the moment when you said, this is probably more human than animal?
Yeah, absolutely. But it looked more human-like when we shot the big one. That's why I said a person in a bear suit. And it looked human-like when we picked up the small one. The difference was I was 2 feet away from the small one, and I was 80 yards or whatever away from the big one. But it was different. It wasn't right. Didn't look right. Didn't seem right. Didn't feel right. And we were like, all right, it's time to get the hell out of here.
You involved with this DNA study at all, or are you just letting them? You're just waiting for the answers?
Yeah. Oh, I know that I have a piece. I have a decent sized piece. Justin's got a piece. Mine just sits there. I don't do anything with mine.
Is it frozen?
Yes.
Pretty confident the piece is from. I know you
I
can't be sure.
100% sure, and I'm not going to sit here and act like I'm 100% sure. I can tell you that there's a pig skull in the back of my truck that I'm 100% sure that that's the pig that I killed last weekend.
Mm-hmm.
I know that for a fact. It smells hella bad back there. My boss was pissed when I showed up for work today. But I can't be 100% sure. I am 85% sure. I know the facts are that we found it right where we thought it was going to be. It was the same color. It had the same type of fur on it. But I still can't be 100% sure because I didn't walk up and find it and cut it off the body myself.
What do you think happened to the other little one? Did it take off after Justin shot?
Yes, that one ran off after that. That one took off. It was like, oh, well, 2 out of 3, I might as well get out of here now probably. Like, I wouldn't stick around.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
Yeah. We're winding this down, guys. We're winding this down. So, because I know you're pressed for time, dude. And I've kept you pretty long, so I apologize.
Yeah.
I know I kept you longer than I told you, but just wanted to go over it again. Dude, it's pretty incredible, man. Thanks for making the time, brother.
Yeah, no problem.
I know it's like sucks, and you don't really want to do this kind of shit, but you know, I'm just trying to help everybody else do their part in this.
Sure, people will end up figuring out. I got a couple people that have hit me up.
Yeah.
On Facebook and stuff like that. They want me to do interviews and stuff.
Well, I promise you, we'll represent this well. You know.
Well, as the guy says to me is, what good came out of it for you? For me.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't know much about this stuff.
So I'm asking you about the gun.
Okay,
What kind of gun is it now? Because
it's
people
a
have.
25-06. It's
Right.
got Barnes triple shock, I think is the name of the actual bullet that was reloaded by my brother.
Okay.
I mean, it's loaded hot.
Oh, I'm the only one.
Is this your
And I mean, like if you're talking about 22 round, that's taken more bears than anything in California and the whole North America.
A 22.
Just a regular 22.
Right. I've seen deer get dropped with a 22.
Yeah, I mean, a 22 round is
so worth it.
about an inch.
Right.
223 that the Army feels is big enough for people, or whatever they might happen to come across in war.
Right.
It's about 2 inches, and it's using a 75 grain bullet.
Right.
But a 25-06 has a 120 grain bullet and loaded with like a Barnes triple shock, which is just like it goes in, it doesn't fall apart, and it explodes. Has a big old exit wound.
It
You won't be
mushrooms out, right?
Yeah, you won't be able to find the entrance wound. Like it's going to be so freaking tiny, it'll be smaller than a pen. But the exit wound, like, and it
Comes out like a
crosses through
beach
everything.
ball, or like
Literally.
a
No,
football
literally.
size. Yeah.
Yeah, bigger. Yeah, I mean,
Because of the velocity of the
yeah,
mushroom.
it's
effect.
going like
Right.
3,400 feet a second or something.
Right.
But
Did
I
you?
mean,
I'm sorry. Go ahead. Sorry.
yeah, 22. You're talking like an inch. A 223, you're talking about maybe 2 inches, let's say.
Right.
And then you're talking about 25-06, that's just as big as a 30-06. You hold the two bullets together, and people from this far away couldn't even tell the difference.
Right.
Maybe sit there and look. I got some at my house, I'll show you.
Right.
And you'll be like, I don't really see the difference.
In the car.
Right. 25 and a 30 is not that different when you look
It's
at
really not.
It's not that different.
But people will tell you that there's a world of difference.
Right.
I don't know.
So did you witness, like, well, obviously, did you see how it exited and thing when you shot the adult?
I have no idea if it exited. I would lean towards that it would have, but I couldn't see that. I've never seen that on any animal. I've never seen that there was an exit.
Right.
Unless it was a bow. But.
I see. Okay, well that answers that about the gun. And you sold the gun, right?
I sold the gun to a guy I met in the Walmart parking lot. I actually traded him for a boat.
So then
My buddy was there for the whole thing. And I sold. I could get to it if I really needed to.